Welcome to another edition, episode 17 of Kendall Sports Network's False Nine. I am your host, Byron Garcia. I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, the absolutely atrociously incorrect Mark. How are you today?
What's up, bro? I'm good.
Are you?
I don't know. What do you have in store for me today?
At the end of the day, derailing the show towards the end, here's what I do. Um, we'll get into that later. Um, Club World Cup started off with um, a lackluster, boring, I guess, ho hum performance against Al Ali um, from Egypt. Um, Everything we said was that was probably the game for us to kind of put our best foot forward, the game that was going to position us to be in the best position to advance if one of the big two that we thought were going to go um, faltered. But boy, were we wrong.
Yeah.
Thursday, the day after our show at 3 p.m., watching from work. I hope my boss isn't listening. Um, we pull a stunner against Porto. Just tell us what you were expecting besides a 6-0, uh, just absolute dismantling of our squad and what actually happened in Atlanta.
Thank God you don't have the clips from last week, but I don't remember what I said.
Well, it was 6-0. We're
I
going to
thought,
finish third,
yeah.
hopefully second. Um, you were just hoping to not get embarrassed.
And they proved me wrong. Um, and I couldn't be any happier to eat my words on a team that I follow, a team that I love. Um, they really showed on a world stage that they can play with with these teams. And then you know that Porto game going into it, I really thought that Samu was going to be an absolute um, dog, an absolute menace,
And he
someone that
was.
we could. Yeah,
He's humongous.
he is a
Bullied us around.
he's yes, multiple big leagues want him, and you can see why. Big teams want him, and you can see why. Um, and realistically, that game could have gone really out of hand really quickly. Once that penalty came, they could have been snowballing into a 3-4 goal deficit at the half. Um, but it didn't. Miami kept its composure, kept its tactical setup, kept its shape, and was able to find pockets of space and rhythm in that game. And it never really felt out of hand. Still being down 1-0 going into halftime. It was not an insurmountable lead that we were going in saying, "Oh, we're never going to come back from this game." Um, Velasco Segovia playing in the middle really showcases his talents. Playing in the midfield, his ability on the ball to get forward, to create quick passes, triangulation passes, quick patterns of play to get the ball moving into Messi's feet or to Suarez, into anyone overlapping, and just helping build out of the back. And then, you know, he scored an absolute beauty of a goal as Cello receives the ball out wide, overlapping run by Allende. Allende squares it in, and it's a one time to the roof of the net, top right, and the keeper has no chance of stopping it. So it's 1-1 right after halftime. And I got to point out, a guy that really solidified, or not solidified, but really made a statement for himself was Cello in these 3 games. We we like to criticize him a lot.
Two more people, but yes, continue.
Specific, I want there are 2 more people, but I think Cello doesn't get, he gets a lot of the slack and they got a lot of the stick. I'm sorry, and he's always put on a spotlight because of the bad things he does. And when he does have a good game, he does have a good game. And I think that we need to acknowledge that and applaud him for being able to step up in such in these big games in such a big tournament for him. I mean, a tournament that meant a lot to the team, and specifically getting out of the group. Um, and it meant a lot for him for his confidence going forward. We've had injuries to center backs, and we had to move Frey into center back role, and then he got injured. So it's a lot of moving parts, but he was able to keep his game, keep his head, and really perform and help Inter Miami, win that get out of the group and win that Porto game. And we won that game by the brilliance of Lionel Messi in the 55th minute, I believe,
So I do
around
have
there.
I do have the first goal, and I'll
Yeah.
work on getting the second one. Give me just 1 second here. Here we go.
Juega por la derecha Inter Miami, se viene Allende. Tocó. Wingan con el centro. ¡Tilasco!
Yeah, it's simple.
And I messaged you when I
Mhm.
saw it. Thank God Kremaski whiffed on
Yeah.
that.
If Kremaski touches it, it's a dead touch, and the ball is going even further away from Segovia.
Yes, if Kremaski touches that, it totally ruins everything.
But there goes to show you, Cello providing width and space and a ball into the box, and Segovia getting on the end of it and making something happen. And that's, once we scored that goal, I was like, okay, we know the tie's in play. Can we keep playing well we were playing well defensively, I felt. That, it was a penalty. No matter, it was soft, I get it. And they threw in the ball at the same time and they allowed us to play, and then they reviewed it. I mean, it's VAR. You know my thing with VAR and all that stuff.
By the book, and technically, yes.
By the legality of the game and the writing, it is a
Yeah.
penalty. Was
But
it the
was it
softest
really?
penalty
It was
ever?
super
It
soft.
was super soft. And Ustadi got a hand on it.
Yeah.
So
And I do have the
um,
Messi goal here.
the what?
I do have the Messi goal.
Okay. Um, but I think before the Messi goal, I think we also got to shout out Maxi Falcon.
That's one of the people that I wanted to shout out.
I
Between
felt
these two
from that,
games, he was
yeah. I mean, granted, he struggled a bit maybe playing out of the back in that Palmeiras game at times, but man, he really showed out. And I think these are the games against these physical, tough opponents that Inter Miami love to play against. You don't see the physicality like this in the MLS. This Palmeiras team, this Porto team, they've got some physical
they're
players
bullying.
on.
It's a
Yeah, they want
Brazilian.
to bully. They want to bully you. But Inter Miami, has some of their own. Has some of these players that played in South America, played in overseas. They've got the greatest player of all time, and they know what it takes to win. And it helps the younger guys around the team really focus, and it tells them what they have to bring every game. So
Yeah,
you want to show that Messi goal and show us how we beat Porto?
yeah. Give me just 1 second, pulling it up.
I
Here
mean,
we go.
it was a thing of brilliance. Away from the keeper, side netting. I mean, and then Inter Miami just held on, and that was credit to them. Not an easy lead to hold on to against a team that wants to win.
Yeah, no, it was
Definitely,
mass.
it was a performance I didn't expect, but I'm not surprised, if that makes sense. It doesn't surprise
Um,
me that Inter Miami could play up to a team. I just, you asked me before, could the two games prior to the Club World Cup affect Inter Miami? I said it could give them a sense of confidence knowing that they can play, and they got 2 wins under the belt against, a Columbus team that's pretty good, but an eighth place team in Montreal. So it
I
was
have I have
pick
another
your
a
poison.
better angle for that Messi goal as well. Let me see if I can pull it up here.
The thing is, you think we're going to be able to carry the momentum?
Step up to put
Granted,
them
past
2-1 up.
this tournament.
Messi!
Yeah, yes, it was set up perfectly for him.
I don't know. So look at where the keeper is. He's shading that way.
Hmm.
I don't know if he didn't see it. It almost looks like it was on purpose.
It's yeah, um, it is. So we win that game, and we're in the driver's seat for the group at that point. Um,
Yes.
which I like I said, I was taken aback by it. A solid performance by the team.
Mm-hmm.
Really, the three guys um, that stood out to me in that game, Segovia, Cello, and Falcon. Um, Credit to those guys. And then going forward, now we had that Palmeiras game. If you want to get into that, or we can break down what I think uh, we can break down. Um, I want to break down the Inter Miami setup in the midfield, the way that we've been kind of setting up lately with
Against
that four.
Palmeiras,
No, especially in the last 3 or 4 games, it's been that 4-4-2 in the midfield. And
but it's
Segovia
like
pushing
a low
up a
block.
little. No, it's not. No, it's almost like a low block, but Segovia tends to play a little higher at times, and he's getting on the ball quicker and not so wide. And having him closer to Messi allows us to play more narrow and more central, which allows us to overlap runs. And I think that's been a great addition. And this is another guy that
This right
I
here,
this
that's my
I
third guy. I
this
told you
was
there
your
were two
third guy.
more.
I figured
Me,
this was going to be because he's had a very good 2 games,
Falcon
3 games.
and Benja are the two guys that eh,
Cello and Segovia.
besides Segovia that I was going to point out. Yes.
Yeah, I think Ben has had a great group stage, really showcasing his skills in the midfield. As he can attack, he can create plays for the team. He can track back on defense. He brings an energy to the team that's needed, specifically in tournaments like this, because every other team's going to bring their A game against Inter Miami. That's what it's going to be. And now,
Even globally, it's the redheaded stepchild is not the word. It's the entitled baby that everyone keeps talking about that the world thinks has no merit. So you're going to get up and try to be the one that stomps them to say, you see, they're not that great.
mhm, that's the nature of the game when anyone plays Inter Miami at this point. They want to win. They want to beat us because we have Messi. They want to do this because we have Messi. We were not um we were invited to this not on sporting merit, but just on the money.
Correct. Yes.
So yeah, Benha played. Seemed like Benha played out wide, played more as an 8 and even as a 6. So he was all over the place, and a credit to him. He thrives centrally in the midfield, and I think he's got a real good chance of getting that start against PSG. I mean, I hope Marciano goes with him, and we'll see what happens there. But we can dive into the Palmeiras game if you want to.
Yeah. Before we get into Palmeiras, it was
Yeah.
something. This Club World Cup has been really, really successful.
Mhm,
I feel like it's done what it's supposed to do.
mhm,
It was able to showcase leagues and teams that may not get the pub, right? Now I know you're the expert here. I'm kind of a mid-level fan. I'm knowledgeable, but I'm nowhere near your expertise. But what I think it's done is it's brought the casual fan that might be interested in some of these big teams, see them play against teams that they may not know, and
mhm,
they're being surprised by how good these other teams are. Example, Botafogo. Example,
mhm,
Palmeiras. Even though Palmeiras is a little bit, um, more popular,
mhm,
Botafogo's not. Auckland just tied Boca Juniors. And bringing the casual fan in, as you know, here at Kindle Sports Network, we cover the Dolphins, Inter Miami. We're soon to start a Heat show. We're soon to start a Panther show. But one of our co-hosts, Alex, Mr. TSB, all of a sudden got real active in the chat and had a lot of comments about watching the Inter Miami game, which he catches every once in a while. But he was really into it. And I kind of want to see the perspective he has from the very casual fan that's kind of just tuning in and see what his thoughts were. And we're going to bring him on now Please pardon the fact that he is absolutely being unsafe in driving, but we got this. How you doing?
Hey guys, how are you?
What up?
Awesome. Thanks for having me on this marvelous show that gets so much great publicity because it should. Because Byron's awesome and Mark is fantastic. But yeah, man, I'm what you would probably call a pretty casual soccer fan. Um, but I'm invested in Miami teams, even though I'm wearing an upside down Dallas hat. All right, don't judge. Um, it's a brand over here that's caught on. I'm sure you guys have seen it. I'm actually wearing the Luca tribute hat because I am a fan of Luca Doncic. Um, but anyways, speaking of, that's the draft is coming up like in 10 minutes, and the
So it
Mavericks
is
do have the first pick.
a Miami show. So give us your thoughts on A, the Club World Cup, and B, what you thought about Inter Miami playing these other giants.
Man, I think it's awesome. Like you mentioned, Byron, it's a great opportunity for to showcase other clubs that otherwise you would not see on television, right? On nationally televised games. So that's awesome. That's great for those clubs. My understanding is that they get some significant amounts of money as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, they get a pretty good.
Yeah, good chunk for a win or a draw, right? I don't think they get anything for losing other than the publicity, right? Um, but yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for these clubs to show what they have. Particularly MLS, right? How many years have people thought that MLS was a joke, right? Like the competition's terrible, the competition or the talent is terrible. Obviously now the players that are a little bit later in their careers are making that move. Obviously we have a few guys on our squad Inter Miami, that are a little later in their careers, and they've played overseas and they've played at the highest level, and now they're coming to, kind of cruise control to the end of their career. So I think it's great. I mean, I think Inter Miami made a good showing. I even think Seattle had a good showing. I know LAFC was disappointed in their showing in the Club World Cup, but man, I'm just excited to see how a team like Inter Miami, you know, compares to PSG, right? I mean, obviously, on paper, PSG is leaps and bounds better than Miami, but I mean, we'll just see how it plays out on the pitch, right?
But did
So,
you, for example, we just spoke about the game against Porto, and we will speak about the game against Palmeiras. Porto is one of those teams like PSG that has a brand, it has a name, it has a panache in terms of global football. Maybe not lately, but Porto was one of those elite premier teams in Portugal. What did you think about what Inter Miami was able to do in not in winning against Porto? But what do you think Inter Miami has the opportunity to do against a club like PSG, which they're going to play, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, on Sunday?
Sunday.
Sunday.
no, I mean, I think they have a great opportunity to continue to showcase that, the level of skill at the MLS and the teams are is getting better, right? There's more talent. It's not an afterthought of a league anymore. As far as the FC Porto game, again, I mean, given Inter Miami has, like we mentioned, and we all know, they have those skilled players that have played at the highest level. Like the Busquets, like of course Lionel Messi, the Jordi Albas, those guys that have played at the highest level, and they're just continuing to make a name for themselves, and draw more attention and more fandom towards the MLS. That otherwise hasn't really been there.
Okay. Now we'll transition to the Palmeiras game. What was your overall take on Inter Miami's just overall play against Palmeiras?
Me or Alex?
Alex.
Okay.
So, okay, he's driving, so I was trying to get his thoughts on it so we can let him get out of here.
Go for it.
Oh, okay. I just pulled into the garage. Um, you
Your
see,
thoughts? Your thoughts on Inter Miami's game against Palmeiras?
obviously, we talked about it in the chat a little bit. Their inability to finish late in games, which has been an issue, not just in the Club World Cup, but in the regular season as well. So that's been tough. You want to see them, not get fatigued, right? It looks like they were tired, they were gassed. They were almost thinking, "Hey, that's it. We've done enough, and we can just kind of sit back, and play the possession game." And then they got bit. They got bit in the butt late, and they made some poor decisions. Um, and but a learning opportunity for Mascherano, for the team, for the veterans on the team. Obviously we saw Fafa had a chance there at the end.
Oh my God! Oh my
Yeah,
God!
and like you said, that was not a great it was not a great touch, right? A very heavy touch, and it was unfortunate. I think Allende, of course, he was a goal scorer early on.
Sir, you're Cuban, sir. Allende.
Allende, I'm sorry, it's a double.
Who is Allende? Who the hell is that?
I'm sorry, Allende.
There-
For you. I know of the double L because it's in my name too, Bustillo. But I'm sorry.
I was about to call you Bustelo. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
no, don't do that. Obviously he had an opportunity there and hit it wide. There was some chances there to put him away, but we didn't. But hopefully you grow from that and you adjust. And Mascherano can kind of learn from that as well. Like, hey, did he make the right substitutions? Did he make them too late? I don't know if you guys have already touched on that or not, but
No, we haven't talked about any of the game.
but
But
otherwise, for the majority of the match, a pretty dominant performance.
before we get you out of here, what do you expect Inter Miami? What would be acceptable to you versus PSG as a casual fan?
Oh man, obviously, you would love for them to win in advance.
Not what you want. What is acceptable?
Man, I think at that stage, those stakes, that team, that's got to bring the best out of everybody, right? That's gotta.
Would you be okay with a close loss?
Yeah, of course I would. I mean, of course I would be okay with a close loss. PSG is a very well coached team. They're a fantastic soccer team. And not to take anything away from Inter Miami, obviously, Luis Enrique's probably got a lot more experience and a lot more cred than Mascherano. But we'll see, man. I just think that playing a club like that is going to bring out the best, not only in our veterans and in our leaders, like a Messi who's played at PSG, right? It's going to bring the best out of everybody, and everyone's going to go out there and give 150%. So I would be happy, ecstatic with a win, super ecstatic with a draw. You can't draw, right? You have to advance. Yeah. A close loss is fine too, man. I'd be happy as long as they go out there and give it their best, bro.
All right, before you get out of here, plug your show.
Hey, the Dolphins Chronicles, baby. Getting excited. I'm still hoping that I can maybe hit a lottery down here and get tickets to the Commanders and the Dolphins in Spain to go with us to the motherland and watch the game. But man, I'm just excited. Hoping that these draft picks pan out. I actually believe that there might be some sort of a culture change and a culture shift in the Dolphins organization. I'm excited about it, as other Dolphins fans should be. I'm always pumped about the start of a new season, man. It's turning over a new chapter, a new page. Let's see what we can do with the team that we have and a healthy Tua Tagovailoa. And yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for Dolphins Chronicles to kick it off. And what are we doing it on Mondays or Tuesdays? What nights are we doing this thing?
The show is going to be Tuesday nights.
Tuesday nights.
Yes.
Tuesday nights. I gotta get me some new Dolphins gear. So I'm not talking about the Dolphins in a Dallas hat. That's
No.
that's unacceptable. Man, I got a Tyreek Hill jersey that I'm thinking of throwing in as a giveaway to some of our listeners and some of our fans of the Dolphin Chronicles. Um, some special guests in the pipeline. We have some connects. We're establishing some connects, and we're excited about it. I hope Johnny can continue to host with us. I know Mark is a big Miami fan as well, and also very knowledgeable in American football as well as football. Um, so I hope that he's able to come on and join us as well. And Byron, now that he's all settled in, I'm excited. I'm excited for what's to come for the Dolphin Chronicles, man.
All right, all right. Well, get out of here, you rascal, before your wife kills you.
Yeah, I
All
got
right,
our food right here, and it's getting cold.
all right, man. Have a
See
good
ya.
one.
Later, bro.
All right, bye, guys.
So that was Alex, our co-host from the Dolphin Chronicles. He's not he's not us where we watch soccer all the time. He's very, very casual. He tunes in, and it was interesting to hear a lot of his opinions. What's your feedback on some of the things he said, mainly
Thank you.
on what the monetary advantages of this Club World Cup were, but more on what the MLS and how they position themselves with other leagues around the world.
I mean, I I think it speaks. I mean, the monetary value or whatever for just getting out of the group was incredible. I mean,
Yeah,
Inter
as Sean
Miami. I
pointed
mean,
out
already
here.
have yeah, Inter Miami already have a great deal of publicity and marketing, and this just helps them even more in whatever
Hmm.
aspect they want. And in terms of the league, I'm you know MLS had three teams in this tournament.
Hmm.
One team got out of the group. One team in Seattle was eh,
They did well for
uh,
themselves,
and the other team flopped. We're gonna say
completely.
it. We're gonna say a flop. Um, but the showcase was the South American leagues that you know the teams in South America. You know the big names of Boca Juniors, River Plate, Botafogo, Palmeiras, Fluminense, and Flamengo. And for all those guys to be put on a world stage and to be shown, against these big teams, it does great things for them because a lot of these big name players that make moves to Europe start at these teams. Legends play at these teams, so it shouldn't shock a lot of people who truly follow the game and will tell you that the passion in South America is way more than the passion in Europe, and that will fuel a team to beat anyone or fuel a team to tie or fuel the Boca Juniors Bayern game was an electric atmosphere from what I saw.
Absolutely.
I had a friend who went, and it was nonstop the entire game, and it was a fantastic 2-1 game that Boca took to Bayern, and Bayern won at towards the end.
Let me ask you a question. Did you see the video of in Southern California at the River Plate game?
Mhm. Against
Did,
Monterrey.
yes, I believe it was Monterrey. Yes,
Yes, that atmosphere is incredible.
but did you see what happened in the stands or no?
No,
Don't ask me why. A fan decided to show up to the game in
oh
a Boca's jersey.
no, wasn't it a guy showed up in a River Plate jersey to a Boca game here?
The I don't know about here, but in California, a person
There
showed
was a
up
Boca
in a
fan.
Boca jersey
Hmm.
to the River Plate game.
Hmm.
I believe that not only did he have to be escorted out by security, but there were some scuffles between security
And some
and
of the River Plate
it
fans.
was it. You know what? If I can find it, I will show it. But what you
I mean,
know, back to what you
it
were saying.
it's a rivalry embedded in Argentinian culture. It's what you're either Boca or you're River Plate. And that's what it is. And when you bring those two teams into a Club World Cup, and those two teams are going to show out regardless of who they play. Their fans travel as good as anyone in the world. They never back down from an opponent, and that's what this tournament was to showcase. It's good that it's showcasing this, that the smaller dogs, in a way, on paper, can stand up to the big dogs on the field.
Do you think MLS will ever get to this place where if you show up to an Inter Miami game with an Orlando City jersey or an Atlanta United jersey, you get this kind of treatment? And I
No,
have the
no,
video.
I don't think so. I don't think that will happen in the MLS this year.
Now, as you can see here, I don't know what he was thinking,
Yeah.
but security is there trying to escort. They made him take off the jersey,
Mm-hmm.
and as you can see, fans are trying to jump over security. There's, I mean, it is again what was going through his head. I have no idea. Uh, the Argentinian military is called into the stadium when they play to keep fans separated in the stadium.
Yeah.
Why you thought you could get away with it here, I don't know. Fans are getting stabbed at Niners games, but you thought you could do it here.
Yeah. Doesn't make sense. But
So back to we talked about the
Palmeiras,
monetary. What this does for the MLS as a league.
I mean, I don't know if it does a lot for the league, just because there was only 3 teams and 1 team made it out of the group. It Inter Miami on paper still the best team. You can say that because they made it out of the group. I think it doesn't do a lot specifically because we still get waxed and run about and run out of the stadium by Mexican teams. So it
Yes.
really doesn't do a lot in terms of anything.
So you stated that you thought Seattle was and LAFC was a flop.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Seattle couldn't get any points and LAFC got one.
They drew to who? To the their last game, I believe, is they drew.
They either drew to Flamenco or Chelsea, one of the two.
It wasn't Chelsea.
Because Esperances,
They drew to Flamengo. They drew to Flamengo.
Okay, they drew Flamengo, and Seattle lost all 3 other games. Is it a product of their group, or is it a product of maybe
a mix of both? That's a mix of both. I mean, Seattle was dealt Botafogo, PSG, and Atletico Madrid.
The South American champion, the Champions League champion, and
a formidable opponent in Atletico. It did not bode them well at all. The team that LAFC had a chance to get out, as they had tried the weaker group, but they flopped. Dennis Blanca did not play well. There was really nothing going for them. So, and really, it sucks for the MLS in terms of that team not getting out. But Inter Miami had that game against Palmeiras, and I was sitting here thinking it was going to be a tough game. It was, regardless of the fact that we went up 2-0.
I believe I have. Let me see. I believe I have the goal, but I could be wrong. Give me 1 second here.
I mean, going into the Palmeiras game, I know their midfield is the strongest area. They have incredible midfielders, including Richard Rios, the Colombian international. They're very physical, and I thought that was going to be the key to the game. We're going to be physical with them. They're going to be physical back? Can the referee? Is he going to let us play? We were playing that game without Ian Frey, a player who I think would have done well in that game specifically because Palmeiras likes to press high and pin us deep, and we struggled at times to play out of the back.
Yes, we did.
There were times that we turned the ball over, and Stadi made a cut. It wasn't any crazy saves or anything, but we gave him the ball a little more often than not in our own half. And then there was a long ball played out to Suarez off a corner, and he's able to chest it down one time into the path of Allende, who beats his defenders down, and he scores the opening goal.
So yeah, I have it here. Here we go. something said, you know what, we're done here, um, and did not allow him to continue. He said,
Yeah,
"We are out of here."
but a player who played decently that game or pretty good was Luis Suarez. Um, we talk about him and not scoring goals. He had an assist here in the opening 20 minutes. Was trying to hold up play, was trying to track into the midfield to alleviate pressure at the back, trying to do everything because Palmeiras really um, wanted to really
I
turn the ball
was
over
for
and
sure. I
go
was.
right at us. I mean, I was too. Um,
Yeah,
he was, and then you know we continue to have a 1-0 lead. We try to build on it, build on it, build on it. Suarez, eventually gets his goal.
yeah, and I do
Funny,
have that
you
one
know,
as well.
I mean, he gets it late enough. You know, it
Well,
was
you
a
know
game that
how
was,
people.
but it was a physical game, and you can tell we there were times that we were showing dead legs even before the 60th minute. It was this Palmeiras team likes to press, and their they made subs, and their subs changed the game for them. But
Yeah,
before that, Suarez had a great solo run of his own. Um, you know, takes the ball down, wins the ball, receives the ball, excuse me, body feints one way, chops it onto his left, takes a deflection off the defender, um, and is able to, bang it home with his left foot, and we're on 2-0 in the 68th minute, I want to say, 66th minute around there,
we'll
66,
see now.
68.
We'll see now.
Dangerous lead in soccer.
Yes.
One goal for Palmeiras changed the tide of the game, and that's exactly what it did. Um, they made their subs, bringing on they brought in Mauricio at the stroke of halftime to start the second half. They brought in Paulinho around the 58th minute, close to the 60th minute mark. Allen played, but their two guys that made the difference were Mauricio and Paulinho, the two guys that got the goal at the end. One was a slip. He
They were
slipped in
both
between.
disgusting goals.
I mean, yeah, we couldn't possess the ball. We couldn't clear the ball. They were able to retain possession. Paulinho makes a run in between Allen and Falcon, and he slots it home. Ustadi almost gets a hand to it, but it's a great placement, great power behind the shot, low driven into the bottom corner. And then the second one was a recycled, it's a cleared header from Falcon, but it's into the path of Mauricio, and he bangs it home, and it's 2-2. So,
So, to me, both goals were a product of the inability to clear, the inability to relieve pressure, um, the inability to have your body perform the way you needed to perform late in games. Clearly, they were gassed. Clearly, they were dead. Clearly, their legs were heavy. Um, Palmeiras, fresh legs. They looked spry even to the very end.
mhm.
You can't have that happen as a coaching staff. I understand that a player or a couple of players that may have overextended themselves to give you everything they had in a game, that's fine. But to have an entire team, because the entire team looked dead. They just couldn't clear anything. They had no explosion, no movement, nothing. What is that another indictment on the coaching staff, on the training staff of not being able to get this team ready? This team kind of doing what it wants.
I mean, you're also dealing with a lot of injuries. Yannick Bright unavailable. Allende, excuse me, Ian Frey injured the game before. Lujan injured. Um, Jordi Alba coming back from injury. Baltasar Rodriguez coming back from injury. David Ruiz still injured. You've got guys. David Martinez is another one that didn't get game time. You've got guys that are, getting back from injury, still injured. And a game like Palmeiras against Palmeiras, that they're gonna wear you down to the last minute. in a game where you're up 2-0 and they get one goal and the tide changes, it's gonna happen because they're gonna be pressing so high up the pitch. You need someone to be able to break it. Unfortunately, we didn't have. Jello played the entire game. He wasn't able to give anything at the end. You have Falcon back there with Avilas, so it was difficult. It was a difficult game to maneuver for Inter Miami, and the fact that they didn't lose it at the end when they very well could have. Palmeiras had a chance at the end. There was a save by Ustadi to keep us, alive. It's a
So you
great deal
think
to this team.
you think that the position they found themselves towards the end of the game was more a matter of circumstance more than an indictment on this coaching staff?
I think so.
Okay. Okay.
Could the subs have been different? I agree. I think they could have. Should we have changed some shape in the midfield? Possibly.
That's another thing that I was gonna try
Should
to
we
touch.
have, maybe I know I don't know, it's a 2-0 game. You bring off Suarez, Pico comes in and all these guys. And play him as a lone Pico as a lone striker and just have him
Listen,
press.
that
I
touch
don't
from
know.
Fafa was
Yes,
heavier than me. It was so tough to see. Like, my lord, the chance couldn't
it's
have been better, and just threw up
yeah,
all over himself. It happens. It was
it
just
does.
unfortunate in a spot so big with
Mhm.
what the result ended up being.
Yeah, because the result plays directly into our next opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Because you win that game, you're playing Botafogo, and I can assure you, Inter Miami fans and the team, not taking anything away from Botafogo at all. They beat
They're
PSG
the South
1-0,
American champion.
but just the name, you don't want to play a pissed off PSG team that lost to Botafogo or didn't have a great showing against Seattle Sounders. Because now you're getting. It appears to me that Ousmane Dembele is healthy to play, and you put that front three of Ousmane Dembele, Due, and Barcola, or I mean, excuse me, Kvaratskhelia, with Vitinha in the midfield, João Neves in the midfield, Fabian Ruiz. Then you have Nuno Mendes, Mensch, or whatever how you pronounce it. Hakimi, Christian Pacho, and Marquinhos with Donnarumma. That team just won the Champions League. They're the best club team in Europe. They won the UEFA Champions League,
Yes.
beating formidable opponents along the way, doing whatever they wanted with Inter Milan, who was who was just in the Champions League 2 years ago. So this game is gonna be very interesting, very very interesting, and
Porto interesting, or is
it's
this
very
another?
hard. It's very hard for me to turn my face to what PSG has done and the players that they have. It's very difficult, and I am an Inter Miami fan. I'm a diehard Inter Miami fan, but I have to be really realistic with myself.
Well, that's what the show is about. I mean, we're not
I mean,
fans, but we're not here to
I
fan
mean,
either.
I just one team can have so much passion and so much soul, but it's not going to get you goals. It'll make you play harder, but a team with that much talent and that much all that going for them, they're bound to hit a streak of scoring goals and wiping teams out.
So
And they're gonna look at this game as, oh, Messi played with us. We didn't win the Champions League. We won it without him. We want to beat him in his league in his home per se.
So I pose the question to you, the
Mhm.
same one I posed to Alex.
What is respectable? What do I expect?
What would be acceptable for you of a showing? Hold on, because Sean, I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that soon, a little bit. But go ahead. What would be acceptable for? It's part of my derailment of the show, Sean. What would be acceptable for Inter Miami? You said 3-0 was acceptable against Porto.
Yeah. It's that it's acceptable to me would be, you're out, you go out, this is they got to play this like a final, and they play this like a final, and they lose 3-0, 4-1. I'll be okay, because I just can't wrap my head around a PSG team with so much talent and so much, that they want to continue to win this Club World Cup on top of winning, the treble, the Champions League and all that stuff, that they want to beat Inter Miami. Um, if I mean, you give me,
Not bad.
yeah, it's a game of small victories, and you take them where you get them, I guess.
Okay. Okay. So before I fully derail the show,
Because I'm not gonna go out here and say, "Oh, we want Paris, we want Paris." That never ends well for a team. It's like we want Bama when Bama was winning 3 straight national
we
championships,
want
or when the
Florida.
Maple Leafs asked for the Panthers and got waxed 2 seasons in a row.
So right. No, I
It's
listen.
it's
Nobody wants
not
to
it's
say
not that. No one wants. I don't want PSG.
that.
So
No.
South American teams may want PSG. I don't want that. And it's not more. It does more because of. I think it plays more into who's on our sideline, on the touchline, and what he's gonna do with the team and set it up, more
Mascherano.
than more than the actual. Because the players are gonna be so hyped for that game. Noah Allen is gonna be on cloud 9, on that game. So
So now to derail the pre-derailment before derailment, and it comes a little bit to what Sean was saying. Forget the second part of that comment, the oil money versus Moss money. It's all
it's
yes,
money
Moss
versus money.
construction money, the plastic part of it. A lot of these European giants came over to this Club World Cup and they treated it like a preseason tour. They stated, "We don't care. We don't. We're not going to play our guys. If we lose, whatever. Ho hum." Um, One, what is your opinion on that? On that attitude from the European teams to come here and to say that about the Club World Cup? And do you think that that does more harm than good? Um, and Sean is here talking about the Inter Miami game versus PSG. But do you think that their attitude does more harm to soccer than it does excuse their terrible showing in the tournament?
I'll answer the first part. You have to read. You're gonna have to rerun that second part by me.
Okay.
But the first part, they could say whatever they want, but these teams were playing. Erling Haaland played for Man City. Um, the big guys played for PSG, Atletico. Um, they played for Bayern against Auckland. They played for Porto against us. Man City had some guys play, some guys sit out. Mbappe was hurt. Um, so they could have said all that, but those guys played. And the part I found the funniest was, these teams sitting these guys in the locker room, because the heat was too hot, or it was too hot on the touchline. So
It was 80,
I
it was
I, I found
80
I found
degrees.
it I found it a little funny, um, but whatever. So that way, yeah, I really don't care what they said. The big guys played, and as the tournament grows and it goes into the quarterfinals, semifinals, final, they'll treat it as such.
Okay, so the second part was, do you think having that attitude towards this tournament and these teams from other leagues coming in and performing so well against them, do you think that hurts soccer here in the US as a product, where you have these teams like Botafogo, these teams like Boca, where they're giving these European giants all they want, and these European giants are dismissing it as Well, we're not really caring, so whatever.
I don't think it does anything. The MLS or the MLS is going to be treated as such because of what they do against specifically Mexico in tournaments. That's the way I view it.
Okay, so
Whenever we have,
dominate Mexico first before you can talk about anything else.
talk about what?
Dominate Mexico first before you can talk about anything else.
Exactly, and the rest of the world, they're always going to look down at the MLS because it's Americanized, and soccer is such a different game than football overseas.
I'll agree to that one for Sean.
So
100
yeah,
plus on the field, yeah,
sure.
yeah, that's rough.
Okay, 100 is rough, but the one that was Dortmund,
Yeah,
I don't think that was that rough. That could have been the Bayern game that he's talking about. But we're always going to get looked down on just because of how we Americanize the game and how we have our different tables and how we have tournaments instead of the one league winner and stuff. So it's kind of a lose-lose for the MLS in this situation, and it really doesn't matter what the rest of the world sees because we're never in their eyes we're never going to catch up to them. So you're chasing a ghost at that point.
okay. And now for my
I
favorite
mean,
part of the show.
I held off for 52 minutes before you can derail the show.
I know, but it's going to happen anyway. 9 points, 3 wins, and the team still sucks. Your thoughts, sir?
I mean, we beat a really bad Trinidad team. Saudi Arabia was the best team we played. Yeah, we won. We're the team is bad, but we're first place in the group playing Costa Rica, right?
Okay, what do you think about this comment?
I think this.
And
I mean,
this is how convicted he is.
Sean's had that for a while now. So I really can't. He's
That's
been
the
very
conviction
consistent.
right there. Look,
He's been very consistent with it, and I commend that.
So hold on before we get into it.
No, wait. I mean, Sean's been very consistent with that, and I respect his opinion. I respect whatever he feels about it. If you had two choices of who you would pick realistically to replace or to have come in before Pochettino was selected, who would they be? I'm just very curious of.
Well, hold on. Before that, give
what?
us, if I'm giving him the power, place the guy you want, regardless of where he is, regardless of whether he wants it. Give us the guy that you want. Dream scenario.
Right now?
And for Sean.
Me or Sean? Oh, Sean.
No, for Sean. Give us the guy who he wants. Dream scenario as your U.S. men's national team manager, and then give us a realistic option. And I'll pose the same thing to you, Mark. Dream scenario, who's your manager? And realistically, who's your manager?
Dream scenario, Jurgen Klopp.
Okay.
Realistic scenario, bring back BJ Callahan.
Okay.
He's in Nashville right now. Bring him back.
I'll answer that. My dream would be, oh my God, I always forget his name. He's on the Fox team. My God, I always lose his name. He's in Germany.
Huh?
He's in Germany.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
How about this right here?
Yeah, I agree with BJ. His anyone would be Neil Lennon. I mean, I think everyone will have their own say of who they want. So
what my why Neil Lennon would be my question. What is it about him that would interest you in that in that name? And I guess oh my God, I'm gonna look up this guy now.
I know you've mentioned his name to me before.
Yes, he's in Germany. Okay.
I forgot what
Okay.
team. What do you say?
He said, right here.
No. Yeah. He said beat Prime Barca 1-0. Takes a lot.
Oh my God, what's his name? Jesus.
I know who you're talking about.
Yes, he would be my dream because I think at one point he was realistic, and I don't know. I don't remember why he turned it down.
He didn't. He wasn't at Schalke. I know that.
Let's see his name. Peregrino Matarazzo.
There you go. He wasn't at Schalke. I don't know.
I
Where
always
was he
think
at?
his first name is his last name.
Yes, you've mentioned his name a lot to me.
Yes. Okay. Okay. You know what? I respect both. I respect your comments simply because you're not. They're very. They're very altruistic. They're very. There's a solid reasoning why it's not. My God, the bald guy from City.
Pep Guardiola.
Yes, it's not Pep Guardiola because he's the best manager in the world. It's there's actual substance behind your picks, and I respect that, Sean. I really do. But tell me, Mark, U.S. men's national team, 9 points, undefeated, and I want to say everything in the world except we're back.
Still no
They look
goalkeeper.
terrible.
Still no goalkeeper.
No, that's oh my God! Don't you know what? I feel like
Still no striker. I mean, Patrick Agiman, buddy. I mean, we might as well play Damian Downs up there. I mean, Agiman. What? I mean, he's Daryl Dike 2.0.
Yes.
I mean, Diego Luna's the best player. Jack McGlynn. I like him. Alex Freeman, somewhat growing on me. Tim Ream can still play. Don't have a left back if it's not Anthony Robinson. Chris Richards, I think he's the mainstay in the center back position.
Don't have a right back that's not Sergino.
Don't have a right back that's not Sergino, unless it's maybe Scally.
Man, Scally's
I'm not
just
sure why.
sometimes.
Not sure why Johnny Cardoso's not getting any playing time. Where else? Where else can I go with this? Brendan Aronson, Paxton Aronson, that hasn't really shown me anything. Malik Tillman, need to see more. But he'll most likely be on the World Cup team just because he, Oh,
sorry, at book, yeah. Jim Curtin. Okay.
it's an interesting one. I mean, I've liked what I see from this kid.
So,
So,
and Sean just cut my train of thought, and
I'm so happy.
he cut my train of thought in the question that I was going to. Okay, I found it again. I'm gonna throw out two names, right?
Players or managers?
No, players.
Okay, go for it.
If I place them on this team right now, do you think that changes the outcome?
You see how that?
Do you think that changes the outcome of the U.S. men's national team?
Who are they?
Josh Sargent, Ricardo Pepi.
No, they don't do it. I don't. When was the last time Josh Sargent scored for us? He hates scoring for us. He scores for Norwich. Doesn't score for us.
Okay, and Ricardo?
Probably not. I mean, I don't think so. What about the Pirate of the Caribbean? He probably would do something.
You think? No. I didn't say Jesus Ferreira.
But I think he would do something. I think he'd do more than that. Granted, he loves playing against those island teams and things like that.
Yes, Pirates of the Caribbean. Look
but,
here.
no.
Sean says
I mean,
no.
yeah.
Pepe's,
I said no. I said no. I said no.
Is Pepe in the driver's seat besides Balogun
For what?
to be that striker?
No.
Given what he's done in.
No.
Okay, so besides Balogun, who's the second guy?
Probably Haji Wright. Yeah, I said it. Probably
That's sad.
Haji Wright.
That's
Probably
sad.
Haji Wright.
That saddens
I
me.
mean, probably him.
Sir, that is always the case. He gets out of bed and injury designation woke up. Always. No, he's really not injured. Supposedly he'll be back this season for my God, what's the team in the championship?
West Brom.
Brom,
West
yeah.
Brom.
Yeah.
West Brom.
Mm-hmm. He's more like a West Bum, but whatever.
I mean, we'll see how he can make a name for himself if he has a decent season.
He's gonna have to put something together to be in contention.
Yeah, a lot of these guys. Wow, look at Duncan, Maguire.
He's home having dinner somewhere? Because whew, God, if we're digging this deep into the player pool whew, during a World Cup year.
I mean, dude.
You got an answer? Are you looking it up or do I look it up?
Orlando City striker Duncan Maguire undergoes shoulder surgery 3 weeks ago.
He what?
He undergoes shoulder surgery.
Well, there you go.
He's with Orlando City, sorry.
Well, there you go. All right. I apologize for derating the show. It wasn't that bad today. I feel like we had a good, a guest pop up today. Thank you, Sean, for the fire poach derailment there a bit. So stop saying you're welcome, Mark. You're part of the derailment. For everyone here at Kendall Sports Network, thank you for joining us. We do have some exciting things coming up for this upcoming seasons for basketball, hockey. We got a lot of stuff in store.
We still have how we were doing the all-time Inter Miami 11. We're gonna bring that back once the MLS.
Yes.
Once we get back into the MLS, we haven't forgotten about that. I've got loads of teams, and
Yes.
we'll bring in those guys to talk about those teams and give their take on Inter Miami or preview a game. So we've got that loaded up.
Yeah. Anything else before we head out of here?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, for Mark, for Alex, for everyone here at Kendall Sports Network, thank you for joining us on another episode of False Nine. And Sean, you're part of the derailment. Have a good one, guys.